Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think I can safely say it's afternoon now. So, you're all very welcome here today. This great day here in Skibbereen. So much going on here. It's just absolutely amazing. The energy you feel around the area. And can I just say, as a Kerry man, don't kill me, I have a long history in this area because between 1995 and 99, I actually worked in the fisheries in Macroom, and I worked with the island anglers here in the town to help them develop the river. And one of the great things about the area I found was because when I was in Macroom, that's Muskerry, for all of those you people who might be from outside the area and from the Pale. And above that, you have Duhallow, and of course, this is West Cork. One thing that struck me, you know, being a Kerry man in the area, I was told by the crowd in Macroom was, they're fierce different down there. They're different ball games down there, boy. And I actually played rugby with Clonakilty when I was down here as well. And I got a fierce duffing in the rugby pitch over here. I was a skinnier winger at the time, and I got absolutely duffed in by a prop. I got caught on the wrong side, and I got this welcome to Skibbereen, boy. They frightened the living crap out of you down here. But what got me was always, and I've known it from the outside, the enterprise that goes on here, because you just get on with things here, and I always admire that, even as a Kerry man. Sorry for your troubles in the football and hurling, lads, but, you know, you've got the co-ops here, you've got marine, you've got so many food companies here, you know, the tourism, you just get on with it. But, you know, there's a line in Local Hero, and a nod here to David Putnam, you know, you can't eat scenery, is one of the lines in it. One of the lads says that. You just can't eat the scenery. You need something more sustainable. You know, something that lasts 12 months of the year. You know, and if I was to take, no, the Paris Olympics are coming up, he says, if I can't win, I won't run. And of course, the good-looking girl, Alice Creed, she's the actress, she says, if you won't run, you can't win. And that's the thing, you just get on with it here, don't you? You just don't wait for government to do something. You've got amazing people here helping you. The likes of John Field, a local hero, Sean O'Driscoll giving his time. These people give their time, they give their expertise. You know, to get this building is just absolutely amazing. So, you know, to quote one of my favourite lines from a novel that I love is The Mirror Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. He says, character is fate. We control our own destiny, and that's certainly what you're doing here in this town today, so I congratulate you. Obviously, Skibbereen is open for business. So to kick off the formalities, I want to ask up here on the stage one of the town's local heroes, Mr. John Field.
What Brian doesn't realise was that John Field was the Skibbereen coach, and we knew how to handle these people, and we knew he was new, so we said, let's do the job. Minister Mary Mitchell O'Connor, Bishop Buckley, Bishop Colton, all our kind sponsors, members of the Ludgate board who are here beside us, fellow townspeople, you're all most welcome to today. It's a huge day for Skibbereen and a day we're all very proud of on the board. Little did Percy Ludgate realise that when he was growing up, just within 50 yards of this building, the significant event that he would be associated with today, just over 100 years after he has died. Ludgate would deliver an overall digital strategy for Skibbereen and the West Cork area. It would make the area a global hotspot. It would provide innovation in areas of food, agriculture and commerce. It would create a great working environment. It would attract new investment. Not my words, but the words that came from the Minister's office last year, an action plan for jobs in the Southwest. There is one full page in that booklet given to Ludgate and is available for anybody to see. Your department has been very good to us, Minister, and we look forward to working with you and your department, helping to achieve our goals. And I would not like to let the occasion pass without mentioning Declan Hughes, who works in your department, who has been an extremely helpful to us in every aspect of what we have been doing. The project has been completed independently by the board of Ludgate. There has been no state aid received. Now that doesn't mean we're not open to talk to the minister at any stage this evening. Ireland's first gigabit town. It just sounds marvellous. Our first meeting was held because Sean O'Driscoll asked me, what about a digital hub for Skibbereen? Within 2 months, we had a meeting in Dublin. He asked me to bring some people. I did. I brought Oliver Farrell, Kevin Buckley, Leonard Donnelly, and Adam Walsh. He brought Anne O'Leary. So and there was a match against Australia the same evening in the Aviva. So everything fitted in nicely. Sean O'Driscoll has been tremendous in getting this project off the ground. His enthusiasm, his leadership, everything. Now, what about Anne O'Leary? What a live wire. Everything was fine with Sean, everything was fine with our committee, but we needed somebody to switch on the whole project. And no better woman than Anne O'Leary to do that. And I'd like to thank her personally here today. Now we had half a board. We had to keep trying, you know. We wanted to build a really, really good team. So we got Lord Putnam, better known to everybody here as David, who's as Irish as anybody in this room, who has made a tremendous contribution to Skibbereen and to Ireland since he came to live here 20 years ago. He has been tremendous to this board, and he's a pleasure to work with. Anne Phillips, who provided legal assistance, came on board. And we were still working. The next person to come on the board was Dee Forbes. We checked her credentials. She was head of the Discovery Channel for Northern Europe. And everything was fine. She was very willing, great worker. And next thing, RTE come knocking at the door. They wanted to share her with us. We had to agree. We're thrilled for her, but she's still very much part of our. We didn't stop. We just needed a few more. And it was like a football team. I think we needed a central midfield player. And next thing, who arrived on the scene? Ronan Harris. And he fitted the bill. Everything, all his credentials were good. And he is a tremendous member of our board. Now, I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. I don't think I have. But now you know how people like Jose Mourinho, Guardiola, when you have the perfect team put together, how to keep them together and how to keep them tuned. That has been my job, and I've done it very successfully. Having Alex White dug the first sod here last August, 7th of August, and we've been working diligently since then. The Minister's Department were very keen that we would run a National Digital Week in Skibbereen. They knew that the man who was doing it in Dublin was trying to get away to Lisbon, and they wanted to be ready for what was going to happen. So they looked to Skibbereen, and we didn't leave them down. We had a most successful digital week, which ran over 4 days, and we had 1,600 people over 4 days. The digital hub in Dublin, or the Web Summit in Dublin, the first year, had 400 people. So we beat them by 1,200. And we're still here, and I want to now advise everybody that we will be having Digital Week again in November, and we want everybody that's here and people who are not here to be part of that. It is very important for us. Paddy Cosgrave, as a matter of interest, sent us his good wishes on the morning of the Digital Week here, because as a young boy, he came to Hare Island on his holidays, and he used to do his sailing courses in Baltimore, and when the club disco was on the Wednesday night, he couldn't get a boat back to Hare Island, so he used to stay in our house. I'd be gone to bed by the time he'd arrive in, and I'd be gone to work by the time he'd be up in the morning, so I saw very little of him. One thing I would like to say about Digital Week. I went and each morning I was quite uptight as to how today was going to go. Anyway, I went on the morning of the Ladies' Day, which was Thursday, and somebody said, go in and fill up the seats. And when I got in, I was very lucky to get a seat. Dee Forbes started the day on Thursday on a perfect note, and it never, ever stopped for the whole day. And I gather, I was gone to bed, that it went on into the following day, and these ladies were seen coming out of a restaurant in North Street at 2 o'clock in the morning. They had such a good day. To our sponsors, I'd like to say thank you. I am a firm believer that if somebody gives you 10 shillings worth of sponsorship, you should give them 15 shillings worth of value. This is what we will endeavour to do for you, and we thank you for your support. To Dennis O'Donovan, Tim Looney, the O'Sullivan painters, and the Barry's electricians, I would like to say a thank you on all your behalf. Anybody who lived in the 50s, the 60s, it was a period in this town like any other town. The war wasn't long over, and times were very difficult. I think today we have a tremendous board and we want to do things, but I'd like to remember the people in the 50s and in the 60s, especially in Skibbereen. People like Ronnie Boland, Father Linehan, Dr. Michael O'Sullivan. These people were doing then what we're trying to do now. There may not have been technology, but they were working to make Skibbereen a better place. I'd like to remember them because they got the first tourism office in Skibbereen. They set up Cork Kerry Tourism, and they got the Irish Sugar Company to build the food factory, which still exists at the other end of town. It became a seafood. After it closed, it became Union Hall Fishermen's Co-op. After that, it became a seafood factory and closed again. But I am glad to say here this morning, and I'm not a politician, but I am glad to say here this morning that a local business has bought it and will continue to use it for many years to come. That is West Cork Distillery. And they will continue in Market Street, but they will also operate in the Marsh Road. Well, what those people left us was 68,000 square feet of warehousing and 14.5 acres of land. And it's tremendous to see it. I would also like to compliment some of the other businesses in the town. I think nearly all represented here this morning. West Cork Distillers are employing 35 people. O'Donnell Designs on the Baltimore Road, very, very successful company, who in the last week approached me about getting an improvement on their connectivity. I told them be here this morning and meet all the people that can provide that for you. And I expect that that will be done. We have Spearline Labs under Kevin Buckley, over 40 jobs. We have ceramics near Ballyhob, 62 jobs. We have a new plastic factory going to be built in Skibbereen. And in the past, that's something the IDA are doing. Not what the IDA are doing. These people are people who originally came from Skibbereen, have been running very successful plastic factories, and are now anxious to come back to Skibbereen to create employment. We welcome that. And we at Fields continue to give reasonably good employment too. Skibbereen today is in a good place. Confidence is high, and Ludgate will nurture and enhance that confidence. It's no longer necessary for the Skibbereen Eagle to keep a watching eye on the Tsar of Russia. The computers of the world are keeping a watching eye on the people of Skibbereen and West Cork in general. Percy Ludgate, did you ever realise the success, the fuss, the confidence, the traffic jams that you would be responsible for in July 2016? But thank you, Percy, and thank you all for coming, and welcome to the first gigabit town in Ireland. Prime Minister, I would now like to call on the Minister to address you and thank her for opening the Ludgate.
John, stay here for a minute. I heard you have the best super value shop in the
I
country.
don't have to be saying that.
And I complimented your lovely wife today for picking your beautiful tie
Oh, thank you.
and insisting that you'd wear it. But
Thank
thanks.
you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really delighted to be here, and all roads led to Skibbereen today. Hashtag 1 gigabit town in Ireland. So give it a big round of applause. Can I welcome, I see some of my colleagues here from Dáil Éireann, Margaret Murphy O'Malley, Jim Daly that I came with here this morning, Michael Collins TD, Dennis O'Donovan, I beg your pardon, Cathaoirleach of the Seanad, Councillor Mary Hegarty, Deirdre Clune is joining us, MEP. I especially met there, and I was very interested in meeting Bishop Paul Cooten, who I follow on Twitter, Paul, a very interesting Twitter account, Bishop John Buckley, and most important, Joe Carroll, who is last Cathaoirleach of the county. So good morning, and can I tell you that my love affair continues with Cork. It's my second visit to the rebel county this week. I love Cork people, and I'll tell you why. I love your can-do attitude. And you don't know how to take no for an answer. And actually, the Cork people I know don't understand the word no. So it took me very little persuasion for me to come back here to the rebel county. It's one of the most beautiful and scenic parts of the country, and that's coming from a Galway girl. We have a wealth of talent and cutting-edge companies in Ireland. Mind you, I think they're all here today in Skibbereen. And I was very interested and delighted to meet Ronan Harris from Google, and one guy that I really admire, and that is Sean O'Sullivan. I mean, a wonderful man. He certainly doesn't know the word no. Is that right, Sean? And another man I just see, Sean O'Driscoll, I beg your pardon. Sean O'Driscoll. And then another man I see sitting here in front of me, Ronan Harris from Google. And again, Ronan, I just want to say thank you for all the jobs that you have brought to this country, and well done. I did mention about the wealth of talent, and our young people, and indeed our not so young people, are developing ideas and turning them into business opportunities. Entrepreneurs are attracted by the prospect of success, and they can get over adversity. They need to be encouraged, nurtured, and supported. And I am honoured to be here in Skibbereen to officially launch the Ludgate Hub. I have clocked up thousands of miles since becoming minister, because I want to see businesses in regional and rural Ireland. I've spoken to multinational SMEs, sole traders, small businesses, and entrepreneurs up and down the country. And I can say confidently that in every county that I have visited, I have met really impressive business people and entrepreneurs. The Ludgate Hub is an exciting and innovative project which will do just that. It combines entrepreneurial spirit with advanced internet connectivity. It creates a supportive environment for startups in Cork. And as Minister, this is what I want to replicate up and down the country. Are you listening, Anne? From Vodafone. And to Cyro as well. Thank you. I want to transform our villages, towns and cities into vibrant places where we can rear our children, get them to go to the local school, and as parents, when they are reared, that we can hope that they can get and create jobs in our villages and towns. This project, the Ludgate story, the Ludgate project, happened because a dedicated and committed group of experienced entrepreneurs and key stakeholders wanted it to happen. And for the first time in Ireland, a rural town will experience the power of a 1 gigabit internet connection. It will link Skibbereen with the world in a matter of milliseconds. Broadband is no longer a requirement, it is a necessity in our homes, in our villages and in our towns. And it's not good enough in 2016 to think that we do not have broadband in our towns and villages. It is fitting that we are standing only a few metres away from the birthplace of Skibbereen's own computer pioneer, Percy Ludgate, and the connection that is Percy Ludgate, more than 100 years ago, dreamed of the advancements in technology, and you have made it happen here today. His dream was to see, and I quote, the time-consuming drudgery of computation replaced by machines capable of performing the most tedious and complex calculations. Percy was a visionary of his time, and his vision became reality. He designed a mathematical, mechanical device capable of multiplying 20 digital numbers in less than 10 seconds. And I have no doubt that the Ludgate Hub will be pioneering. It has huge, ambitious plans. It will support entrepreneurship by bringing people together, and it will do it physically and virtually. It aims to support 80 digital entrepreneurs. It has the potential to create many more jobs in West Cork area. The Ludgate Hub will share its learning outcomes with other rural communities in Ireland and right across the EU. It will help to promote rural regeneration across the continent. I grew up in Galway, and my thoughts are never far from rural Ireland. I went to a 2-teacher school and was born in a little village where maybe there was 16 families, and now when I go back, there's 3 families left in that little village. And I can tell you that as Minister for Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation, I am focused on creating regional and rural sustainable jobs. My department, as John mentioned, has launched 8 regional action plans. They're the 8 Bibles for creating jobs right across rural and regional Ireland. And I do want to pay tribute to the people in my office, Jacqueline Hughes and Claire Dunn, who is here with us today. In total, I just want to give you the vision, we aim to create 200,000 jobs by 2020, and 135,000 jobs of those are to be outside the main population areas, and they're to be outside Dublin. And when I look back, whenever my ministry finishes, I will look at that number, and that's how I will register my success. Did we do it? Did we make sure that the environment was there to help business people, entrepreneurs, to grow jobs, to grow industry in rural and regional Ireland? One of the key agencies in supporting the regional action plans is Enterprise Ireland. They offer a wide range of supports for entrepreneurship, and Enterprise Ireland is well positioned to identify those entrepreneurs from all sectors with the capability of growing exports and employment in our economy. I make no apology. These are ambitious companies, ambitious agencies, IDA, Enterprise Ireland and our Leo offices, and we want to make sure that we develop innovative products and business development strategies for rural and regional Ireland. And when we deliver on the full potential of that regional plans, we expect to generate a total of 246 jobs by 2020. That figure is higher than the government programme target. For 1 minute, I want to address the elephant in the room for a moment, and that is the EU-UK referendum, Brexit in short. For some, its outcome instills a sense of fear and uncertainty where business is concerned. That's not the case in government. I agree there are uncertainties. My colleagues in government and I see this also as an opportunity. And can I tell you, we will maximise the opportunities and minimise the challenges with Brexit that Brexit presents. We may not be shouting it from the rooftops, but I want to tell you, we are very much in the game. Conversations are being had, deals are being discussed, and jobs will grow. This government has moved on from planning. The plan is now being actioned. The Taoiseach is leading the charge in Europe and the UK. Enda Kenny was one of the first leaders to meet the new British Prime Minister, and he told us how it was after the meeting. No return to borders of the past. On Wednesday, I met with the Governor of the Central Bank and his officials. His message was very simple. Ireland is open and ready for new business, and we will compete with business internationally. So let us not waste time pondering what may happen. We must see this time to seize new opportunities. We must diversify and look to new markets. And if business stops growing and adapting, then we all know that business dies. It's time now for us all to step up to the plate. Today, the question cannot be what worked in the past and how do we repeat it? I'm asking all of you business people, innovators, entrepreneurs, I am asking you what's necessary for the future and how do we create it? And if we make wise choices, we will build sustainable, long-term, regional and rural growth for generations to come. In order to drive the plans, we need everybody working together. Initiatives like the Ludgate Hub are essential in bringing rural communities together to drive progress, and the hub will provide the facilities and space for new companies. It will build the skills and contacts needed to successfully start and grow business. Enterprise Ireland has partnered with the Ludgate Hub to host and evaluate applications under the Cork Feasibility Fund in the autumn. This is a €200,000 fund where successful applicants can receive up to €25,000 in funding support. And the partnership and initiative will promote and showcase Skibbereen and the Ludgate Hub as a quality startup location. And as John mentioned, in November, the Ludgate Hub will host key influencers of the digital world as a unique technical conference, Ireland's National Digital Week. The event will discuss topics such as milk quotas, social media, and one that I know the women here in front of me and here in the room are very interested in, female leadership. It will be another fantastic opportunity to showcase West Cork. Many of you are working hard to grow your businesses, to develop products and services. You are the front lines navigating your enterprises through the ongoing global economic uncertainty. And I just want to say to you that this government wants to help to create the conditions for you to succeed today and into the future. So now I want to go to a very special man, and that is to Sean O'Driscoll. Sean invited me here today to celebrate with you in Skibbereen, hashtag 1 Gigabit Town. I know that Sean has a long-standing great relationship with my department and is a regular contributor to the Irish Enterprise Policy. He was a member of the Enterprise Advisory Group some years ago, and he's a great advocate for Irish manufacturing. He was chairman and now president of one of the great innovative Irish companies, Glendemplex. He's a member of the advisory group for the Global Irish Economic Forum. He is an industry partner to the government's action plan for jobs, and he's also a member of the National Competitiveness Council of Ireland. Well, how can you follow that? But Sean is just one of those board members driving this initiative. I have to say it's a really high calibre board. And what can I say about Anne O'Leary, Chief Executive of Vodafone, and also another great woman that I met here today, and that's Dee Forbes, the new Director General of RTE, and I want to wish you the very best, Dee, in your new career. I also see one other man sitting in front of me, and I've actually had the great pleasure of going to hear him speak, and especially on education. Your interest in education, David Putman, is just superb, and it is so visionary. So it has been an honour to be in the same room as you. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to officially launch the Ludgate Hub Town in Skibbereen, hashtag 1 Gigabit Town. And I wish the team and everyone involved with the project every success in the future. Gur míle maith agaibh, Claire.
Thank you, Minister, and I would like to wish you all the best in your role for the rest of the administration. You're certainly bringing great enthusiasm and zest and a lot of attention to your role, and well done on that. So, Skibbereen, look at you. You've Google, Vodafone, ESB, An Post involved, I hear as well, Glendemplex, AIB. Look at you, aren't you spoiled, huh? But of course, this was once a cinema, then it became a bakery, then it was empty for a little while. And one person had to come in and pull it all together, because poor old John Field can't do everything, can he? So I'd like to pull up here the person that pulled it all together and runs this place from a day-to-day basis, as Chief Executive, Gráinne Dwyer.
Thanks, Brian, and thanks, Minister, for coming to Skibbereen today. We really appreciate you taking the trip down to us. I'll be quick because we have a fantastic garden of events out the back as well for us. But I just want to give a small bit of context before we play a really impressive video that David Putnam and David has put together for us today. We started this journey just over 18 months ago with a vision to create this blueprint, to create a plan for Skibbereen. What can we do to make a sustainable future for a place like Skibbereen, and make basically a strategy for other towns to take on board as well. We knew what we could achieve, what we wanted to do, but there was a lot of convincing along the way. A lot of people telling us, you're never going to get anyone to Skibbereen. And the proof was in the pudding when I got an email about a month ago from a man in LA, and he said, Gráinne, I've seen you on Twitter. I'm moving my family over to Schull at the start of the month. Book me a desk. And we thought stories like that are absolutely fantastic. Over 18% of the people who applied to come into the hub here was from our diaspora. So that just shows the people that are out there willing to come home if there's a rationale, if there's a space, if there's a good environment to work. And I think we've created that with the Ludgate Hub. I think the whole blueprint piece of the Ludgate initiative was really core to its success so far. We've actually been contacted by 15 towns in Ireland, mostly along the western seaboard. Places like Dungarvan, Dingle, places in Mayo, Clare, Limerick. And when you have the likes of Dingle and people from Kerry knocking on our doors asking, what are we doing right? I think, Brian, I think we're doing something very good here indeed. From the start, we knew we had to create a brand for Skibbereen. If you look back 18 months ago, would you have seen half the people here in the room? Would you have seen any television cameras here? So we had to work hard with the community, and it was really essential to get the community involved from day one. So we had a number of community meetings in hotels. We had a community meeting in the town hall then in November or in February. And we didn't know how many people would show up. We thought it could be 10, it could be 20. We left a meeting in Cork. On the drive down, I turned to Callum, my colleague, and I said, Callum, we could have 10 seats inside here. I got a text from a local cafe owner, Siobhan, and she said, Gráinne, you need to open the side door because there's 300 people queuing at the door wanting to know what the hell Ludgate is, so you better tell them. We had the town hall absolutely jam-packed. People, the youngest person there was about 3 or 4 years old. We had up to 8 years of age attending. And everybody was so enthusiastic. It was the community support really that drove this on. And everybody, family, friends, retailers, service providers, people abroad offering support was the core to this success as well. We really worked in creating a brand for Skibbereen. So we worked with the Skibbereen Chamber of Commerce. We worked with the townspeople to start sitting back and saying, what's good in the town? We've heard so much from rural areas saying this is closed, this is shut, it's derelict. But we really needed to push out the good message because nobody's going to invest in a town when all you hear is bad news stories coming out of it. We did up the skibbereen.ie website. We got the local community groups together, start thinking what is good in the town, how can we promote it as a package, as a brand. And by creating that brand, it gave opportunities for global success. We wouldn't have any connections with anybody outside of Skibbereen unless we could sell the vision to them as well. How do we know that Skibbereen is doing well? We had 2 investors over last year from Wales showing them around the town. The first thing they said to us, and some people here mightn't even notice, your main street is fully occupied. So that's an indicator of success. A brand new secondary school coming together, a state-of-the-art, such fantastic opportunities for young people. Nationally and internationally known festivals, the Skibbereen Arts Festival on this week. We have fantastic food produce, award-winning. So these are all really good traits to promote the town and create that brand again. The biggest question that people asked us is, how do we do this? What's the secret to success? And the only one-line answer was grit and determination, and I think a stubbornness from the board of 11 to say this will work, and they knew it would work. The Ludgate board, the 11 members, were extremely essential to the development of this. Some people would consider them, are they a notional board? But when I'm getting texts from Sean O'Driscoll with about 4,000 staff asking me, is his job's done for Ludgate? I know that they're serious about this, you know. They've been absolutely fantastic. We meet nearly on a monthly basis. All the local people, especially one person I'd like to mention is Oliver Farrell, who's nearly dedicated half his working day to working on Ludgate with us inside the board. So I'd like to thank Oliver today. We have a fantastic team as well working with us. Callum, Gillian, we have our interns here as well. And I actually sat back last night in the midst of the midnight hours and I said, how many hours have I been working on this project? And I actually calculated between myself and Callum, it was 12,800 hours in the last 18 months. So I think I might move my salary to an hourly wage now. I think I'll be better off. The other question then is, what has taken to get this off the ground? So just in figures, nearly over €1 million in investment into this whole project. We've had a €300,000 seed capital fund, which has really encouraged companies outside of Dublin to say, yeah, we'll move to Skibbereen, you've fantastic facilities. We've had the 1,000 megabyte connection, 1,600 attendees coming to Digital Week, which is the rubber stamp on, yeah, we can change some ideas here. We've had over 400 pledges of support from companies worldwide. These are people from West Cork saying, I'd love to help out your tenants, I love your story, we can offer services in kind. And that's been a tremendous asset for us to offer our tenants as well. Since we've opened our doors really only in April, we've had over 100 active members of the Ludgate Hub. 50% of our day-to-day users are from the big corporations, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Vodafones, the Pfizer. These big industries are letting their workers work agile, so it's really positioning Skibbereen into a fantastic position as we go forward. By 2020, over 80% of all big corporations will offer remote working. So any other towns or villages looking to do this, that is the trend. That's where we're going with this. Connectivity is the key. To finish then, there's going to be a lot of outputs from this project. This is only phase one, if you remember. We've exceeded our targets in terms of people in this building. We've 4 people in total coming from the US. We've 2 from South Africa, 1 from London. So the biggest interest that we found is the international interest, which has been fantastic. The World Bank has even suggested if there's a slight penetration of broadband increase in speeds, 10% of local GDP will climb. So these are the kind of facts that they seem intangible, but once super fast broadband is in an area, things will happen. A lot of this project was based around as well the Google Kansas story, where in Kansas they dropped a 1 gigabit connection into an area in Kansas in the US. And by 2 years, 121 new companies had formed. This is year 1 of the Ludgate Hub, what it'll be like in 2 years' time. We're hoping that by moving with the local community, moving with the board, and moving with everybody that's helped us so far, that this is only step 1 of a really long, successful story for this town, and also for other towns that can take this on board as well. So I'd love to play something that summarises absolutely everything up about the Ludgate story. So I'll hand you over to a beautiful little video by David Putnam and Davidas.
A mine in the water. We can explore these hills if that's what you want to.
I'm Ronan Harris and I'm the head of Google in Ireland, and we're a huge
A mine in the water. We can explore these hills if that's what you want to.
I'm Ronan Harris and I'm the head of Google
we always said, let's see if we can create this blueprint, what hasn't been done in rural areas before. So we've been contacted by about 15 towns all over Ireland, from Longford, Dungarvan, Westmeath, Kerry, Galway, Mayo, just saying, we have this empty post office, we have an empty Garda station, they've all been closed down, what can we do with them? So the number one piece of advice is it has to be from the bottom up, it has to be from the community, and gather your community together and see what your strengths are and what can connectivity do for those as well.
I have watched over the last 50 years young people leaving West Cork year after year. This is our way of getting these young people back.
If you live in Dublin, London or any other major city, good communication is an essential part of your day-to-day reality. That's just never been the case in West Cork. But all that's going to change.
We have a number of community projects, and it's trying to get absolutely everybody thinking digital. So we want everybody thinking, what can you do with that connectivity? How can you connect out with people using it?
Skibbereen is as good a place in the world to actually set up a business. In fact, it'll be a very attractive place for if you're an entrepreneur in Vancouver. There's no reason why now you wouldn't actually consider relocating your business here.
I was out in Dallas before Christmas, and there was a guy from Cork there, and he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From Castlehaven." I said, "The office in Skibbereen." He said, "The digital capital of Ireland." So we don't want to stay the digital capital of Ireland anymore, we want to stay the digital capital of the world.
This is a wonderful, wonderful place to live. The schools are great, the air's great, the environment's great, the food's great. But in the past, young people had to go to the city in order to get the jobs they wanted. That is simply no longer true.
their hands, and which is very much the main character in the play that is our lives. However, we aren't just snapping and tweeting in the way that media often reports. We are building businesses, studying, connecting with our friends and family abroad, educating ourselves, informing ourselves, discovering the world, and most importantly of all, creating the future. For generations, we've had no answer to the conveyor-like exodes of talented people to our cities and abroad. However, connectivity now offers the opportunity to preserve that process, giving young people the chance to run and grow businesses from where they were born and brought up. To release that talent that I know is there and ready, in fact, raring to go. I connect with these people every day of my life through my work with the Digital Youth Council. Ludgate should be a model for all of Ireland. The effect Ludgate is already having on the community is huge. With Coder Dojo doubling its numbers since first moving to the hub, and the ambitious plan to pilot a STEM module, the very first of its kind in the country, and a fantastic secondary school opening in September. This is a model that can help put Ireland ahead of all of our competitors. And please believe me, we need to keep moving in what is a very rapidly changing world. To borrow a phrase from one of Cork's favourite sons, Roy Keane, to fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. Lastly, I spoke at the launch of the government's Connected Futures report in May and explained with a heavy heart how emigrating was most definitely something I was considering, because I simply wasn't going to let poor connectivity hold me back as a tech entrepreneur. However, as I stand here with 1,000 megabytes a second at my fingertips, I'm confident that not only will I have to leave to build a bright future, but neither will my friends or the generations who follow behind us. Because to quote Cyril, this is the moment life in Ireland changes forever. The Ludgate Hub should be an inspiration for all of us. I look forward to watching the model grow and flourish, and I'd like to wish everyone connected with it every success in the future. Thank you very much for welcoming me to your community, and thank you very much for having me here. Thank you.
Well done, Harry. So just to take us through just a few little bits of what's happening in the future, we call up Gráinne again. And you realise they stole this girl from Munster Rugby, so we have a good pedigree here. Well done, John, for that one. Gráinne.
I was only selling programs, not playing now, so don't give me too much credit. So I'll just do a little piece on what's next for Ludgate. We're hoping to get involved in a number of EU projects, but the current project that we're working on here, we brought on Gillian Guy, who's been an absolute fantastic asset to the team here. We brought her in running, or sprinting, as one would say. We really wanted to enable the whole community to utilise this connectivity. So we came up with this formula for a project called eStreet. eStreet is an initiative that we kicked off with the Department of Communications, the local enterprise office, and we were extremely grateful to Mr. Barney Whelan, who answered our prayers from An Post. And Barney's with us today. Barney, I don't know if you're up here. You might put up your hand there for us. He's over here. An Post have become a core sponsor of this project, and this is going to completely transform rural towns and villages. It's a platform that showcases, we have 11 retailers in Skibbereen that are all going to trade online at the same time, giving them the same opportunities as Dublin, as Shanghai. Clonakilty is no longer a competitor for Skibbereen. It's New York. Wherever they can sell their wares to, that is their next competition. So I'd just like to wish Barney a big thanks on behalf of the Ludgate team, to Gillian Guy, who's leading it, and all to all the retailers who took a chance on this project, and we'll be launching this initiative in September. The whole idea of the Ludgate initiative here is to raise all boats in the community. How can we train everybody to use this 1,000 megabyte connection? We have the Coder Dojos in here, which have doubled their numbers. I think it's the free soft drinks or tea and coffee, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the facilities. We have iPad training courses for people who want to become more digitally literate. We call these people not the older people, but the non-liners. So that's the name you can call yourself if you want to get involved there as well. Going forward, what's success for Ludgate? I think if we were to turn around in 12 months' time, and if the government was to offer the town €1,000 or 1,000 megabytes, I'd love to see the town turn around saying 1,000 megabytes is so much more important. I think that's a real measure of success for us. A lovely quote I used for the soft launch last year, but I think it really encapsulates the whole Ludgate story. What is Ludgate? It's coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, but working together is success. And I wish the rest of the project every bit of success. So thank you.
Well done, Gráinne. And well done as well to Barney Whelan on Post. Myself and Barney soldiered together many, many years ago in salmon farms, would you believe it, out in Irees and out in Castletownbere. Another long story, which we'll probably talk about over pints some other time. Of course, the greatest gift anyone can give to someone else is their time. And, so many people have given their time towards this. You can't give a better gift anywhere. And one of those people who's been involved from the very, very start, a very visionary man, please welcome to the stage, Sean O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Brian. Minister, my lords bishops, public representatives, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ireland's first and only Gigatown. Minister, you've rescheduled your diary to be with us today, and you have cancelled appointments in your native county of Galway. So a big, big appreciation from all of us, and a personal word of thanks from me. Ludgate is a community-based project with the sole objective of creating jobs in the rural and most southerly part of Ireland, beautiful West Cork. And today is a defining day for the future generations of Skibbereen, West Cork and rural Ireland. This is the moment life in Skibbereen changes forever. And an illustration of that is when the Culture Arc team were taking the ferry from Cape Clear this morning to come to the opening, they tweeted, and their tweet was, we are on the ferry to the future. And this is what Ludgate is all about. Through Ludgate, Skibbereen has levelled the playing field between rural and urban Ireland. Our giga town has consigned geographical disadvantages to history once and for all. And Minister, you referred to the government's action plan for jobs, which you and your department are responsible for, and has a target of creating 135,000 jobs in rural Ireland between now and 2020. Today, here in Skibbereen, we are showcasing the template for how those 135,000 jobs can be created in the new and rapidly accelerating digital world. This is the model for rural Ireland's future. As a very small team, we set out to make the impossible possible. And at our first meeting in Dublin, I commented and I said, for rural Ireland for the last 50 years, Plan A has not worked. And Plan A was to sit back and look to Dublin to solve all of the problems of rural Ireland. And of course, when they weren't solved, to complain about Dublin. And my recommendation was to come up with Plan B. And Plan B was to do the impossible. And when we had it done, we then had a very legitimate cause and reason to turn to Dublin and say, Dublin, now we need help. And today is that day. In 18 months, not only is the unimaginable imaginable, it is now a reality. All achieved without €1 of state funding. Ludgate, as Grania said, is attracting international attention. And on the morning of the 5th of September, the European Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Phil Hogan, is bringing a very high-level delegation from the European Union here to Ludgate. And their purpose of their visit is to demonstrate Ludgate as a model for rural development in the entire European Union. Minister, going forward, we will not be shy or slow in asking for support. Nor indeed will we be shy when we don't get the right answer. And we will constantly refer to the words of Ronald Reagan, who said, the 9 most dreaded words in the English language are, I'm from government and I'm here to help. So, Minister, you're right, we won't take no for an answer. And we start today looking for help. And we want to make you an offer today, Minister, that you cannot possibly refuse. And we have an added bonus for you. It's our first ask and expectation. And our offer is to create some of those 135,000 jobs here in West Cork. And our ask and our expectation is that the state agencies under the control of your department, such as the IDA and Enterprise Ireland, not passively, but very, very proactively, support and assist us in that job creation. In all aspects of life, success is always down to people. And the very small Ludgate team does not talk the walk, nor do they walk the walk. They sprint the walk. Individually and collectively, they are inspirational, and they are a joy and an honour to work with. And I particularly want to say a special word for the team in Skibbereen here who do all the work. John, Adam Walsh, Kevin Buckley, Leonard Donnelly, Oliver Farrell, Callum Donnelly, Gillian, and of course, Grania Dwyer. You saw a little cameo of Grania today. This is what we see every day. And Minister, you refer to female leadership. Not only is Grania a great female leader, she's an exceptional leader, full stop. Congratulations, Grania. This building has been made available and refurbished by John and Catherine Field and their family. To you, just 7 simple words. Thank you. You are exceptional people. When we had our first formal meeting on the project in the credit union offices on Saturday, the 3rd of January 2015, David Putnam lauded the vision, but correctly cautioned. And he said, without broadband, we could never deliver or execute the vision. And on that cold, wet morning, you would have got significantly better odds on Leicester City winning the Premier League than you would on Skibbereen being a gigatown anytime soon. And Cyro, who have delivered broadband, is a joint venture, as you know, between Vodafone and the ESB. Anne O'Leary, the chief executive of the ESB, Vodafone, who is also a Ludgate member, is with us here today. And Jerry O'Sullivan, the deputy chief executive of the ESB, fellow Corkonian, Jerry is also with us. So having had David's health warning about broadband, Anne and Jerry both got a call. And they took the call. And after a little persuasion and realizing that no would not be taken for an answer, broadband has been delivered through Cyro. And then Sean Atkinson, Stephen O'Connor at Cyro and their colleagues, you've done an extraordinary job in less than a year. You have brought about the moment life changes forever in Skibbereen. So to Vodafone, ESB and Cyro, we will not disappoint you. Thank you for your commitment and investment in Ludgate, in Skibbereen, and indeed in rural Ireland. And finally, to our sponsors, whom you will now hear from, thank you for believing in us and in what we are doing here in the most southerly part of rural Ireland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. And to bring up one of those supporters, very, very integral to the town, and I think they're back making a few bob again. Can we call up John O'Doherty from AIB, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. As Brian said, my name is John O'Doherty. I'm head of AIB here in Cork County. And I have to say, in the first instance, it is my great privilege to be here amongst you this evening, or this afternoon. And actually, I had a speech prepared, which you'll be delighted to know I'm not going to share with you, because it was going to set out the case as to why AIB felt that we should partner with the Ludgate in terms of what is the ambition, the vision that the Ludgate is trying to achieve in the years ahead. And I'm delighted to announce today that only this week we penned a 3-year agreement which sees us supporting the Ludgate here, and will see us sponsoring the National Digital Week later on in November when it comes through town again. And I have to say we're thrilled with that, because as has been described here quite rightly, it is one thing for individuals to get together and have a conversation 18 months ago around a vision or an idea. It is another thing altogether for that to be executed into such a fine and complete premises and facility that we have here today. And let's make no mistake about it. When we look at what the Ludgate is, it is not just a best-in-class environment in terms of Cork, West Cork, rural Ireland or Ireland. It is a best-in-class facility in terms of the global footprint that is there. And from an AIB perspective, sure, why wouldn't we be involved? We are thrilled to be involved because not only are we a community bank, and you can see the strong links to the community that have been described so well here today, we are also really interested in supporting those that support entrepreneurial activity on an ongoing basis. Not just new startups, but those that are scaling and growing their businesses. And no better team than Grania and Callum here to be able to drive that ambition as we move through the years ahead. And our role is not to be passive. We've no interest in being passive supporters or partners with the Ludgate. We really want to put the full weight of the organisation, the AIB organisation, behind the Ludgate and play a very active and participative role in terms of ensuring that your vision, Grania, is realised in that 12-month time frame and beyond that you have described. And I suppose if I'm taking anything from today's session, I think there's an onus on all of us who are stakeholders here, not just in West Cork or in Cork or beyond, to really actively consider and reflect on, well, what can I do? What can my entity do? What can I as an individual or my company do in terms of being able to support the ambition that has been set so clearly out in front of us today? Because we will all benefit. We're seeing it already and we're only getting out of the ground. What can be achieved in terms of making West Cork a digital hub, allied to all our ambitions of growing employment and growth and making it that centre of excellence that we all strive to see. So, in short, I would just like to congratulate the team here, congratulate those individuals that sat around a table 18 months ago and brought the vision to reality, and say to you from an AIB perspective, we are going to play a very active role in terms of supporting those ambitions in whatever way we can to ensure that not just Skibbereen, but West Cork and Cork more broadly sees the benefit of what is being set out here in front of us. And to that end, I'd like to thank Grania, thank Sean and everyone else who has been involved in terms of allowing us the privilege, as I see it, of partnering with Ludgate today. So thank you very much. I hope to see loads of you over the period ahead, including at National Digital Week, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I'd say there could be some good rates going there in a short while. So, let's listen to Ronan.
Ludgate is important because it's demonstrating what happens to connectivity to and the transformative effects that it can have on the centre itself, clearly, because it's attracting in more businesses, but also local businesses around the town.
Ludgate was a natural fit for us in terms of that innovation and entrepreneurship piece, but also in terms of a flexible working environment supported by strong infrastructure in such a beautiful place.
Mercedes is delighted to be associated with the Ludgate Hub. We have supported the Ludgate Hub with financial, accounting and governance consultancy over the past 12 months. I think the whole vision of the Ludgate Hub can be best characterised by a comment made to me by a board director who said the Ludgate Hub is about making the impossible possible. Well, now I think the impossible is a reality, and that is a remarkable achievement for the Ludgate Hub. So, well done.
We're in KPMG are delighted to support Ludgate. It's a community-based initiative, and I think the spokes out of the community are really, really important. And linking to the startup environment has been great with Skibbereen. I think it's important that we all get involved. I think we at KPMG are based in the regions. The region is very important to us in addition to our Dublin operations. And I think it's important for Ireland that not just Dublin and the Eastern Seaboard is strong, but it's strong throughout the country. And an initiative like this is actually helping to revive regions using technology, enabling people to live locally and work internationally. And that's why it's important for all of Ireland that we get behind initiatives such as Ludgate.
Ludgate and German are very proud to support Skibbereen, the One Gate Tower.
KPMG are proud to support Skibbereen, the One Gate Tower.
And Google is really proud to support Skibbereen, the One Gate Tower.
Thanks to our supporters there. I was talking to Jerish earlier on. He has Granite Digital here. He's a tenant here. He's employing 55 people between here, Cork and in Blanchardstown. And he tells me that he's expanding again, taking on another 45 people throughout the 3 hubs. But he told me he worked here in the mid-noughties, and the company that he worked for had a leased line that cost 33 grand a year. I'm lucky to get a meg on that, and how we've come on the last 10 years. And of course, a company that's to the forefront of bringing this fastest technology we've ever had here. I'd like to call up now the Chief Executive of that company from Vodafone, Anne O'Leary, and also Sean Atkinson from Serial, who are making it happen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day, and I just want to acknowledge what a truly momentous occasion it is. Here we are in the Ludgate Centre in Skibbereen with 1 gigabit of fibre pumping through its veins, bringing life to 100 Ludgate members that now have world-class connectivity. I think it is amazing what a small community can achieve with great people come together with a great idea and they turn it into an amazing initiative. I think it's remarkable and a tribute to the endeavour and resourcefulness and enthusiasm of you, this community. Ludgate is a physical manifestation of something much greater than this one building. What the Ludgate project represents is the potential of any community to reimagine itself and develop its own unique entrepreneurial ecosystem once it's given the tools and support to do so. Ludgate and Skibbereen are the starting points of a gigabit society for Ireland, a gigabit society where everyone has access to world-class connectivity, regardless of whether they live in a large city, a small town, or a remote village, where young people do not have to leave home to further their career or start their own business, where people living in isolation will be able to connect with family and friends across the globe, where our older people will be in a position to continue to live in their own homes, thanks to huge advances in e-security and e-health technologies, where home working will become a matter of choice rather than a function of broadband. Because of Ludgate, we are only beginning to see the enormous potential of a gigabit society for the whole country and rural Ireland in particular. Universal availability of light-speed broadband to every town, village and home in Ireland is critical to Ireland's digital future. Since entering the Irish market, we have continued to be the single biggest investor in new technology, with over $1 billion invested in the last 5 years. We are committed to continue to deliver and play our part in creating a gigabit Ireland and a gigabit society. And that includes bringing connectivity here to Skibbereen and the Ludgate Centre through CSIRO, our joint venture partners with the wonderful and innovative ESB. They have been amazing and we love working with you. But connectivity is just one of the magic ingredients here in Skibbereen. It is the community, it is the people. It's the people like John Field, Kevin Buckley, Leonard Donnelly, Callum, Oliver, Adam Walsh. So many of you have been amazing, donating your time, your energy and your money to make this digital hub a reality. And of course, Grania has been mentioned. She is amazing, her enthusiasm, her energy and her drive. We owe a debt of gratitude to you. Thank you, Grania. So today is a great day. We're able to celebrate the creation of 75 new jobs, the dynamic mix of digital entrepreneurship already here at this very early stage. The Ludgate Hub is a platform for business to realise their potential. It will foster innovation and creativity, which is exactly what we need. It will enable communities to live, work and enjoy a lifestyle in this beautiful location. The benefits are already spreading beyond here. We have our virtual shopping mall. We have E Street. The overall long-term objective is to create 500 direct jobs and 1,000 indirect jobs for Skibbereen and the wider West Cork. And I have absolutely no doubt that these goals will be achieved. Ludgate and Skibbereen serve as a source of inspiration for the connected gigabit society we aspire to create in Ireland. The aim here is to create a digitally enabled rural society in which innovators can access and create and expand their businesses in rural Ireland while competing on a global scale. We've already taken the first steps on the road to achieving that here in Skibbereen, and I look forward to us taking what we learn here and applying it to rural communities right throughout the country. Congratulations to everyone in Ludgate. Congratulations to Skibbereen. I am so proud to have been involved in this project. I'm humbled by witnessing it all, what we have achieved together, and excited and optimistic about what is to come. Thank you so much for letting us be part of your future. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted to be here this afternoon. Always delighted to be in West Cork. I claim a little bit of heritage. My father's a West Cork man, so don't let the Dublin accent fool you, I suppose. But I'm delighted to be here really to celebrate with the Ludgate team and the opening of this fantastic centre. And I think, if you look around, it's just truly inspiring. It really is fantastic. Congratulations to Grania and all the team. And we look over the last 12 months, what they've achieved is fantastic. But taking this old building and transforming what is a historic building, what was the heart of the heritage of Skibbereen as a cinema, as a bakery, and then transforming it into a digital hub, a state-of-the-art digital hub that can stand toe-to-toe with this centre like this anywhere in the world. And look at the vibrant workplace that's here, modern, vibrant workplace, to give entrepreneurs, to give startups, a place to excel. And at Syra, we're so proud that we were able to bring that gigabit connectivity to this town and into this centre, because it is that connectivity that makes it possible. I think it was Lord Putnam had said that without connectivity, you're at nothing. So from Syra point of view, we're really delighted that we were able to bring that connectivity here. Syra as a company, there's been a lot of talk about connectivity in gigabit towns, and if you look at it, there is a digital divide. It's real. It was manifest here previously, and at Syro, we're about trying to bridge that digital divide. We've announced 50 towns that we're building in. 8 of them, if we look at Skibbereen, are in Cork, so that's probably a good thing for the audience here today. But it's about bringing that connectivity to the Ireland, across Ireland. There is reasonable connectivity in the major urban centres. But even what's here today is 3 times better than the best service that's available anywhere in Dublin. I'm very fortunate in Syro to have, I suppose, 2 fantastic shareholders with Vodafone, represented by Anne, and ESB here, and this is Jerry's here as well. And if you look at that, as a company, it's hard to imagine a better mix. We have the fantastic heritage of infrastructure delivery that ESB brings. Think back to rural electrification, delivering in Ireland for over 90 years. A service that was required. Today we don't think about electricity. We don't think about turning on that switch and what it means over the years. That's where we need to get to with Syro. And bringing together ESB with Vodafone, which is actually a global, the scale of Vodafone is staggering, a global telecommunications company. We have the global chief executive of Vodafone over, and brought him over. And he's really excited about Syro even on a global scale. So when you look at what's achieved here in Skibbereen, what we can achieve in Ireland, that's a footprint that's being looked across Europe and across the world. Right, so it's just as well as connecting the centre here, just to announce, as was announced previously, but Syro is connecting the rest of Skibbereen to town. We'll be investing €1 million in the town. We've started construction. The way that we build the network is we build it in on the electrical network, so we string fibre on the network, on the overhead, existing ducts, and we bring it all the way to the building. That's what's unique about Syro is that 100% fibre optic connection, and we bring it all the way into your home or into your business. So we're constructing in the town today, and we'll be finished before the end of the year. So you can really look at Skibbereen, as I say, that hashtag 1 gigabit town. And that's a town of this size. It's the first town of this size that we will have done, and hopefully it's very much the first of many. So that's over the rest of the year. And I'm going to conclude now, because I think I am the last speaker between you and the rest of the events. So I said I'd cut your sheet. So in conclusion, delighted to be working with Ludgate, have the connection here. Wish Grania and our team every success. I have no doubt that they will succeed in everything they set out to do. We see it as an exemplar project that is transferable elsewhere across the country. Look forward to being in the town over the number of months as we connect the town and roll out, and we'll be announcing those plans over the coming months. But I suppose the most really exciting thing about all of this, and it was captured in all the speeches, is what can you do with 1 gigabit connectivity? What does it really mean? It's hard to put your head around that for someone like me who lives in rural Wicklow that's lucky to get 3 megabits, never mind 1,000 megabits. And I suppose it's hard to imagine what you can do, but I think that's really, really the most exciting thing of all. What can you do with it? So listen, wish everybody success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. God, it's great to have the old dubs come down and kneel in front of the Cork crowd, isn't it? Great stuff. Now, one more little piece of business before John Field closes out. I want to call up now a little piece of good news for the town. So we'll have Sean O'Driscoll up again, please, and Maurice Healy, who is a seed fund investor to Ludgate. Thank you. Almost there.
I'm the fullback. You're the... At last year's Digital Week, Maurice, who is a native of Skibbereen, came back to speak at Digital Week. And on the occasion, he announced that his family investment fund would make available €150,000 of seed funding for digital startup companies operating out of the Ludgate Hub here in Skibbereen. And being competitive, my family and I decided to match it. So we have a fund of 300,000 available, and over the last number of months, Maurice's son Timmy, my daughter Emma, have been evaluating projects as they come forward. And today we're announcing that we're going to fund one of those companies, and also to say that there are 3 other companies that are working their way through the evaluation process. And Maurice and I, we met with Kevin Sherry, Executive Director of Enterprise Ireland, in December. And again, our ask was, Enterprise Ireland, it's time for you to come on board as well with seed funding to match what we're doing. And Maurice said on the day, we're not restricting ourselves to 150,000. If there are good projects there, that figure can be higher. And Maurice and I are committing to that again today. So Maurice, I will leave it to you to announce who the first investee company is going to be.
Just me to add to Sean's remark, I would safely say that there's one other gentleman in the audience which I'm very close to persuading to make additional funds available to the seed funding. So by the time I leave Skibbereen today and back to my home in Ballylickey, I'm certain that the Southern Star will be able to make another announcement, and I'll tell you about it later. It is my privilege on behalf of Sean and his family and my family to say that we will be funding Your Irish Heritage, which is a local company based out of the Digital. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. So just to finish out, we're all finished up now. Call up John Field to give his closing remarks. And I'm sure he's got a feed ready for you from the Super Value in Skibbereen downstairs.
Thank you, Minister, friends. Thanks to everybody for being so patient and listening to what has been said here this morning. I think just recall one little incident, and that was before the launch last year. Sean rang me about 5 days before it, and he said, are the people of Skibbereen excited about this? And I said, no, Sean. And he said, but why? Because we haven't told them yet, but they will know about it before the weekend. And sure enough, they all turned up, and we had decided, why make a big issue when we had got nothing off the ground? When we had something to tell the people, we told them. They've been with us ever since. When Anne spoke at the launch, and she said, not alone, she said, will broadband and Cyro be available to the Ludgate Hub, it will be available to every building in Skibbereen within 12 months. She got the biggest applause that I have ever heard anybody getting in the town of Skibbereen. I think you and Sean, I'd like to include you in that too, because you spoke that day and you said, which I thought was very nice, Ludgate ticks all the boxes. It's just what we want to be involved in. So thank you, Sean. I think, having listened to Grania, you understand why we have made the progress we have made. She is one of the few girls in her class that's still around Skibbereen. She's, could you imagine the loss to Skibbereen if we had lost her and what she has done in the last year and a half? She's brilliant. And I'd like to congratulate Grania and Callum and Harry and all the people that work here. I get, on average, about 4 phone calls a day and 4 calls to the shop. But it is always something constructive. But you are living proof of why Ludgate is the success it is. I had said, when I spoke on television in that programme, I'd love to be able to keep our young people here. I think we can do that. And when I spoke at Digital Week, this was a tech conference that ended with a sing-song. I'm not going to end with a sing-song today, but I will finish with the words from that last verse of our anthem. "O Father dear, the day will come when in answer to the call, each Irish man with feelings stern will rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the band beneath the flag of green, and loud and high we'll raise that cry, broadband for Skibbereen." Sorry, Minister. I was to start by thanking the Minister, and Minister, I forgot to do that. So I'm thanking you now. If you want to sing a song, you're more than welcome to come up. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Brian. Thanks to all our camera people, our PR people, and everybody that came along to report this. Isn't it fantastic to see a bunch of PR people, camera people, Geraldine, everybody that wants to put Skibbereen even further in the map. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you. There's food and drink being served downstairs. You're all welcome to go down and have a talk. And if you have any questions, don't ask us today. Thank you very much.
We always said, let's see if we can create this blueprint, what hasn't been done in rural areas before. So we've been contacted by about 15 towns all over Ireland, from Longford, Dungarvan, Westmeath, Kerry, Galway, Mayo, just saying, We have this empty post office, we have an empty Garda station. They've all been closed down, what can we do with them? So the number one piece of advice is it has to be from the bottom up, it has to be from the community, and gather your community together and see what your strengths are and what can connectivity do for those as well.
I have watched over the last 50 years young people leaving West Cork year after year. This is our way of getting these young people back.
If you live in Dublin, London or any other major city, good communication is an essential part of your day-to-day reality. That's just never been the case in West Cork. But all that's going to change.
We have a number of community projects and it's trying to get absolutely everybody thinking digital. So we want everybody thinking, what can you do with that connectivity? How can you connect out with people using it?
Skibbereen is as good a place in the world to actually set up a business. In fact, it'll be a very attractive place for if you're an entrepreneur in Vancouver. There's no reason why now you wouldn't actually consider relocating your business here.
I was out in Dallas before Christmas and there was a guy from Cork there. And he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From Castlehaven." I said, "The office in Skibbereen." He said, "The digital capital of Ireland." So we don't want to stay at the digital capital of Ireland anymore. We want to stay at the digital capital of the world.
This is a wonderful, wonderful place to live. The schools are great, the air's great, the environment's great, the food's great. But in the past, young people had to go to the city in order to get the jobs they wanted. That is simply no longer true.
A mine in the water. We can explore these hills if that's what you want to.
I'm Ronan Harris and I'm the head of Google in Ireland, and we're a huge supporter